Good evening and welcome to the Heritage Preservation Commission meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. The minutes are attached. I'm looking for changes or amendments to the minutes from September.
I do believe that there should be a change for under 2A, the date
To September
to September
18th.
18th. Thank you.
Okay, 2017. Are there any other changes? If not, I'd accept a motion to approve as amended.
So move.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Design review, sign for Carlson Tillish Eye Clinic at 26 North Broadway.
All right, in your packet, you have the sign application for the Carlson Tillish Eye Clinic, which is owned by Tate Stillwell, 26 North Broadway, right across the street from City Hall here. And what they're looking at doing is putting a double-faced sign hanging out over the right-of-way with a pair of glasses on it. I did make contact with Sid Signs. They were looking at doing an internal lit sign, which I told them that was not allowed in the district. There are some options that they were looking at. They're possibly just doing a cutout of the glasses. Sid doesn't know if they're going to be able to see that or not. So that's why he did the box around the glasses. He says he can do external lighting on it. And it has the aluminum metal frame around it. They're not sure on the color, what they would go with, and I had explained to them the color palettes that we have, the earth tones that we're looking for. And it's roughly 12 to 15 feet above the sidewalk, which meets our sign ordinance.
The only question I have, you just did say that they were talking about lighting it.
Yep.
How-
Somehow they would have to do with an external light on it, either coming off of the bracket he talked about, or on each side of on each corner of the building, having a light.
Did you see
Like
Sid's notes on
like a
there?
goose.
Yeah,
It says the sign would be white and light from the inside, the glasses would be black. Thanks, Sid.
Mhm.
I like the sign. I like how it looks.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with how it looks. I like the way it looks. My concern is the lighting. You know, whether they're just putting a spot or if they're putting a hanging light and where they're going to anchor it. Because if this sign is on the corner, so I'm assuming that's a corner bracket that they're, or, you know, like an L bracket that they're putting up there.
correct. That's
An
a,
angled bracket.
Right on the corner.
Right on.
And how they would light it, if they'd come in from both sides, what kind of light they would put on it, because a spot or something is not
yeah.
approved lighting.
Yeah, and we can,
However, it is awfully close to the street light. So,
true. It may not
so.
need any lighting, I don't know. That's,
Especially if the background is white.
right.
Yeah. So that's, you know, if the question is just sign, I don't know that that's a problem, because unless you know, they're working with you for color and whatever.
Right.
My question is the lighting. And that's not part of the application?
They do not have anything on the lighting of it, no. Just that it says metal and LED.
Except it says here, the sign could be white and lit from the outside, from the inside, that's gone, okay, so.
Right.
Because that was the first thing, all right.
You know, one interesting comment I want to make with that, you know, at first when they lit it from the inside, several weeks ago, myself and Elwood went with Mr. Zahn, you know, they're redoing our
Yeah, Tom.
ordinance, and we discussed items like that in depth. you know, which historic significance era are you looking for? Everybody remembers the Shell's beer signs, lit, plastic on both sides, orange and black in the 50s? Historically acceptable if somebody,
They are if they're in the window.
no, these actually, some hung from the,
Remember?
Yeah,
I'd
the
have to go
office
back and
bar.
look. Okay, oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we had many of
The
them.
office bar, that was a neon sign,
Right.
yeah,
But it was one of those things he's gonna try to build in, you know,
right.
what area or era are you looking for? Was it acceptable or wasn't it? Because we have many of those types of signs used to hang in downtown New
Right.
Ulm.
Correct.
Different era in the 20s, different era in the 50s. Which one are you looking for?
I know.
I mean, this exact thing came up about internal lit signs.
Well, this has come up with a lot of
Right.
buildings in town, and because it's in the current guidelines that we're
Right.
using, it's not part of, and we did discuss that when we had Tom at this meeting, what
Yep.
era we were precisely looking for. And until we get new guidelines and acceptance, I mean, I would be hard put voting against an attractive neon sign, but it's not, you know?
No, I understood. I said it was discussed again
Yeah.
with him.
So-
Ellen, you mentioned that they were considering just the outline of the glasses on there
Right.
at one time, or is that still
Yeah,
something you're looking at, or?
well, now that, with the conversation with Sid Signs, it sounded like that was the original thought, but they weren't quite sure that that would stand out enough, so that's why they put it on the box. But that's still maybe in play with, going with a dark black
They
pair or
could-
dark bronze pair of glasses.
If they embossed it on a piece of metal, it would be visible.
Right.
If it was a white background and it was embossed on the
Yeah.
metal from both sides,
Yeah.
it would be,
Yep. So, and then, the back page here is possibly have an optometrist under the
Right.
glasses and
Right.
wording.
I would like that.
So it's still kind of I guess we're looking at getting something confirmed on the concept of it. We can bring it back to,
has there been any discussion as far as removing some of the other signage that they have on there? Because isn't design directions still on the signage in the front of that
And I
building?
think Edward Jones too.
And, yeah,
yeah,
I think those are still in they have the signage above the windows and
Yep.
In the archway.
in the archways.
yeah.
Okay. I know that there's a Carlson Tillish one on, I don't know if it's on both sides, but I know it is on the first North Street
Yeah.
side.
No, nothing was discussed about that.
So you have no objections to as stated? As long as I'm working with you on color.
Yeah, we can,
Does anybody else have any questions? I'd accept a motion
I'll make a motion to approve.
to approve. Second?
Second.
No more discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Continue working with them, Elwood. They've got.
all right.
City report.
As Mr. Christian stated, we did have Tom Zahn down here a couple weeks ago. Him and myself met with Tom. We went over a few things. Again, the first page here I got is the lighting guidelines, and we talked about internal lit signs and LED lights, which there isn't a whole lot on that, he says, but they are being allowed. As for the color thing, that he really didn't have a good comment on. That's still kind of up in the air on
And
that.
SHPO doesn't have a handle on it either.
Yeah. So he was gonna do some investigating and see what he could come up with and find on that end of it.
A good source for information on some of that, sometimes you can get it from the Smithsonian directly. If you would send them a question, they would answer your question directly.
Then, the next thing we talked about were, signs on the awnings. He was gonna revamp that to show the signage, on the face of the awning. instead of just on the,
So that
on the
changes.
Valence. Yeah,
Like on
So-
Lola's or on Ashley Bridal?
correct.
Correct.
Yep, so we can get that
So we're in
incorporated.
compliance.
Okay.
And they were gonna do some checking on the rear entrances of buildings. We went over that a little bit, being some of the buildings are being renovated and more of the rear entrances are becoming, like the Grand, that would say that's probably a prominent entrance now. So they're
I
looking at
don't know a
that.
lot of buildings in New Ulm that don't have prominent rear entrances anymore, even if you go like to Joni's or the, you know.
Right,
There's
Well,
something
the-
on every block.
yeah, but this one's more being the ADA entrances back there now, that's.
Compliance.
Yeah, so looking at that, and then he was gonna make some statements on corner buildings, that it's the front facade and the side street facade that are part of the criteria. He also was gonna look at expanding the color palette. The blue colors came up, which he said it's out there. So he was looking at this, expanding the whole color palette a little more than just the earth tones that we have, getting some acceptable colors. And then with the appropriate materials, as we went around, that anodized aluminum isn't part of ours, but it's the aluminum color. It's not the anodization of the aluminum, which you can get in many colors. So he was gonna address that in the guidelines and bring that up to date. We talked about having some type of checklist or some criteria to go along with the demolition of buildings, so we know what's there to follow, instead of having it so vague that you just need to apply to the HPC. Have a little more information there. He was gonna address some issues with demolition by neglect. Talked about signs on the walls, the exterior walls of buildings, like they were back in the early part of the century, how that comes in. And then that's kind of when we got into what is the significant time period are we looking at for this? There can be many different times for that building, or what was the significance? Just read an article here not too long ago, the 60s and 70s are becoming significant time periods. So he was going to do some looking into that and address. That was the major things that we talked about when he was here. He was going to get us a preliminary guideline here. Hopefully, talked about like by the end of the month or first part of January, have something
For
kind of,
proofing.
yeah, kind of drawn up. And then we applied for a grant for the condition assessments for the Herman Monument Base. We did receive $60,000 for that. So we will be working on doing a request for proposals for companies come in to do a condition assessment of the base and see if we can figure out what's going on up there with the moisture and what we need to do to mitigate that, and any other problems that may be involved with that.
Are you can't do the proposal? Are you gonna do the proposal before you get approval? Before you have the signed document?
No, we have to get the signed documents first, and then we can send it out. So we're working on it, trying to get it written up and get it ready, so when we get the signed documents, it's ready to go out.
Okay.
So, and then the other sheet of paper you have in here with New Ulm signs, downtown business districts, the chamber is looking at some wayfinding signs for the downtown area. There was a presentation last Friday, and we'll let Cara talk a little bit about it, but these are the design concepts that came up. I guess we're just looking for some type of direction from the committee here on which would be acceptable, if it's 1, 2, or if it's all of them. And if that's which way the commission looks at and says we can look at these, and then gives them some direction at what signage they can start focusing in on.
Where would they go?
They would be from 4th North to, I believe it was Second South,
Second south.
from Broadway to German. And then, so there'd be signs like at Fourth North, there'd be proposed a big sign there directing traffic off of Broadway down to Minnesota Street. And then along Minnesota Street, there would be some signs, and then also along Broadway and German to parking lots, business districts, whatever, I guess. what-
Glockenspiel, the Kiesling House.
Are they gonna be on the
Museum.
boulevards, or are they going to be on,
You have to get the whole.
They would be on the boulevards, or looking at using stanchions on the light posts and stuff, or where the bollards are on the corners of the streets, making some type of signage like they show in here with the double bollards or a single bollard that they put a stanchion on.
So this project came up through the Downtown Action Team, which came out of the Community Visioning Project last year. And it was one of the things we felt was important in downtown was if you live here, you know where things are. If you don't have a clue. Even that Minnesota Street is one way. So we wanted to add some directional signage and especially point out the public parking lots to people. Because we do have plenty of parking downtown, you just can't find it if you don't know that it's there. So these are the 5 of the designs that Signia Design came up with. Frank Hickey was the man from St. Paul who came down and showed them to us. All of these designs can be different colors. These are just colors he just came up with. So they can certainly be adjusted. And we talked a little bit about that on our meeting on Friday. Because we wanted the appropriate colors. Just wanted to see what you thought of them.
I like the B. I think that's what it says is us.
Mm-hmm.
I think C is more modern looking.
That's what I thought.
C looks like Alina. I think they have that kind of,
And I thought E looked kind of like a hotel.
And this is like the sign that we have on the outer coming into Nuam, basically.
like the Velcoman sign?
Yes.
It's similar.
This one isn't bad. D isn't bad.
B through E would be on posts like the one shown in C, I take it?
What there would be is a double post sign like this on the corner of 4th and Broadway.
Right.
Okay. So each of these would have their version of a double post sign, and then these would be the on the light posts.
Ah,
For example, like the corner of 4th and Minnesota, right at Shonlow Park, there'd be one of these signs pointing, downtown this way, parking this way, things like that.
We have these on the.
And then the parking lot signs would match.
Isn't there it's a Johnson Park sign that's on Fifth that I was trying to think of where all the highway signs were, because there are a lot of highway signs that point this out, the brown highway.
Yeah, there's
Directional
some brown
signs.
ones and some green
Yeah.
dot signs, like on 7th North in Minnesota, there's points downtown, it's on the
So-
north side of the street.
Okay, so this is only going in the historic district, it's not going
Correct.
Well, it'd be on the outskirts of the district
The
from,
boundary.
the corners of the district.
yeah.
And it was a whole package program. I don't have it on a slide presentation, but he was talking about adding new downtown banners in the future that would match. And I don't have that with me, I don't think. So you could get a whole clean look. The concern was which one of these fits in with the historic district.
A and B, it's my vote, I don't,
I kind of would agree with you.
yeah. Anybody else have any opinions other than
A
Alina?
and B, you said?
I said A and B, I would prefer, but,
I like B.
yeah, I like B too, but.
This is what they would look like on the poles.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Simple, not
I like that.
obnoxious,
Would you- John,
B would be
like that.
Yeah.
best looking on that.
yeah, I
on the
think B
post.
is,
I would think you need that vertical, don't you?
Yes.
Rather
I
than-
do too.
And then this could be, a map of downtown, for example, and you could put, businesses could, for example, rent or purchase these spots below for advertising, or you could put festival information, or, things like that. So these are changeable.
So you're also gonna do this in the business district, or if you're doing it just on Broadway, are you gonna do it on German Street also for parking and?
It would be Broadway, Minnesota, and German,
Okay,
from 4th north to 2nd south.
okay.
On all of the intersections?
It wouldn't be all the intersections, no. That has to be determined yet.
I suppose it would matter of what's there that would point you in the direction of what,
Correct.
parking lot or.
And this is the one, you like B, this is what it looks like. This is his suggestion on the corner of Fourth and Broadway, I'll show you in a second, of a nice planting on the bottom. Could be different colors. Just a suggestion.
I know, then we get into the watering, the
I know,
plantings again.
that's what I thought
so-
too.
And,
But this would be like what the sign would look like.
and I don't, they don't cross Third North now when they do the watering, do they? Isn't it? Or they do, because they go to the
Yeah.
Alliance Bank.
Yeah, there's planters out on the corner of Fourth already.
Yeah. Our discussion really kind of shied away from the plantings,
Yeah.
because you have to maintain them then. But this is what they would look like. This is one of the suggested banners, and then this would be one of the signs on the poles. So very simple.
Very coordinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole, be a whole coordinated look
Okay.
for downtown.
I'm just wondering about wind resistance. Are they, because we have the plastic ones now, or the size, and they have the airflow. Do they have airflow pockets
Oh, they
through
were
them?
solid, weren't they?
The banners?
Yeah.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah, they're solid.
Banners are
solid,
solid,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, because every once in a while, we pick one up at the, and
Yeah.
drop it off
Yeah.
again, because they come off.
I mean,
Yeah.
but they're what is it, 10, 12 years?
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was 2008.
8?
2008.
About 10
Yeah,
years.
About 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, do you have the information you need?
Yeah, it sounds like everyone prefers B.
I have another question. For the big double post signs on Broadway, doesn't DOT have some
Well,
setback?
right, MinDOT would, setbacks and stuff would come into
Right.
play with that, which was brought up at the meeting. They would have to check in with MinDOT.
Right.
Yep.
It's all preliminary in design, the rest will still go through council, or if Steve
Absolutely.
says we have to go to MinDOT,
Right.
that's who you go to.
Well,
I guess,
that's
yeah,
kind of
we're just
like on German Street. I don't know if I'd put one on the Fourth. That's the football field,
Yeah.
so Third, there's more people that traffic on Third, I would think.
Right. I guess we just wanted to bring it here to get some type of direction. Has to go to city council to see what their thoughts are. So at least we kind of get a train of thought here, which way to go.
Yeah. See if you strongly liked one design over another.
Well, I think, to me, A is good, but it's overkill if you're gonna do big signs all over. I mean, it's a costly thing. If you're doing B, that would be more appropriate on.
Well, I think the
posts.
A is just showing the design of what it would look like on the double. It would be smaller on the,
Yeah.
the post
Yeah, on the post
signs.
it would look like that,
Okay,
I like it on the post like that.
I do too.
just like that, so.
This one just reminds me so much of the Wolkeman sign.
You're
The A.
correct, yes.
It does. I hadn't
Yeah.
thought of that.
Did we need a visual for this, for the, okay, camera? Is there any, I have no report other than to say, we got the grant, there's a lot of work to do. And, since Dennis Gardner is coming down to do a castle program, we will be in touch with him about, the Warju.
Sounds good.
Okay, is there any other business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
meeting adjourned. Thank you.